Hello everyone, welcome to the digital classes. So today we'll be studying about the coordination in plants. For this coordination in plants, if I talk of, this is a topic in the class 10 chapter, that is control and coordination. The animals, they can respond very well through the stimulus. And what about the plants? How do they respond? For them, there are two movements which are being shown by these particular plants. One is the nastic movement and another one is the tropic movement. If I say a plant is growing, what are the factors that are needed by this plant for growing? It may be the sunlight, it may be the water, it may be the touch, which is making it to grow. But if an insect touches the pitcher plant, what happens? It just closes off its lid, or you can say the leaf or the petal. Now, what is that particular thing? Is it leading to the growth of the plant? No. So, some movements in plants are in such a way that they actually lead to the growth, while some they are just for making the plant respond to the stimulus. So according to that, we divide the movements into two types, the tropic movement and the nastic movement. If the movement in the plant, it occurs, that is just a fluttering or a closing or just a wave-like movement, then it's a kind of a nastic movement. But if a plant grows because of that particular external stimulus, that movement is termed as a tropic movement. For this tropic movement, if we talk of various hormones, they are responsible. But there is no such hormone responsibility of the nastic movement. What you all need is the change in the turgor pressure, the change in the turgidity of the cell. For example, if this is a cell, this is a particular cell, maybe a guard cell, or you can say a normal cell. Whenever we keep a cell into a hypotonic solution, it goes on expanding. But the same cell, when kept in a hypertonic solution, it will show a shrinkage. Now, a cell is expanding, a cell is shrinking. That is actually changing its shape. A single cell might not show much difference. But what if there are so many cells held together? And all of them, they are of in this particular length. Now, for some while, if the water from each cell, it is, taken off, what will happen? The length of the cells will shorten up. Whatever the length actually it was, now it has been shortened up. Now, in case of the cell, if the water is comparatively more, the size of the cell, the size of that particular length of the cell will increase. Now that increase and decrease is actually leading to the opening and closing, or you can say fluttering, or you can say closing up of the leaves. Now that are the turgor changes. The changes responsible due to the movement of water inside and outside the cell. The nastic movement, for example, if you touch me not plant, what will it do? It will close its leaves. But after some time, when the chemical response is taken off or is removed or it is normalized, in that case, the cell, they return to back to their particular place. Now that movement is a nastic movement. But if I say I have a sunflower over here, a potted plant with a sunflower, then if there is a sun, what happens? Wherever the sun is, the sunflower tries to locate toward that particular sun. Now, this type of a movement where the movement is occurring due to an external stimulus, but somewhere there is a growth in the length of the cell. This type of a movement is termed as a tropic movement. For tropic movement, it may be due to sunlight, it may be due to gravity, it may be due to the water, or it may be due to the chemical substances. So according to that, we have different things or different types of tropic and nastic movement. For example, here you can see, here there is a bending up of the stem part in towards the sun. Since bending is occurring, there is an increase in the length. So this is not a movement which is just leading to the movement and not leading to the growth. ये जो movement है, this movement is a tropic movement. Growth as well as directional. Wherever the sun is, the movement of the stem will be there. But here you can see in the second diagram, there is the closing up of the bladder. Now that closing of bladder is due to the trapped insect. Whenever the insect gets attached to the membrane or on the surface of this bladder word, then what will happen? This particular fly, the chemicals from this fly will give a trigger to the cells, which will lead to the release of water from the cells of this particular insectivorous plant, and will lead to the shrinkage. Now this shrinkage will lead to the closing. Similarly, in case of the Mimosa pudica, here in this particular plant, you can see in Mimosa pudica, whenever you touch that plant, the touch me not plant, it starts losing the water. And whenever the water is loose or is loosened up, the cell size, it goes on decreasing. And that decreasing size makes the folding up of the leaves. So upper one is an example of the tropic movement, while the lower two are the examples of the nastic movement. So here, if the temperature is responsible, if you can say touch is responsible for growth of the plant, then the word says thigmotropism. If the plant roots, they are responding towards the water, then it is known as hydrotropism. If the plant is moving towards the direction of the sunlight, then it is termed as an phototropism. If it is responding towards the gravity, then it is termed as geotropism. Now, in case of chemotropism, whenever pollen it falls on the stigma it releases some chemical factors. Now, these chemical factors are an identifiable factors for this pollen grain. It's not like कि mango के plant के ऊपर you cannot see an apple वाला fruit. Reason being, whenever pollen of apple falls on the stigma of this particular apple plant, then these chemical interaction they go on, which will lead the gametes from this particular pollen to move inside. If the mango pollen falls on the stigma of the apple, in that case, no such chemical identification occurs, and there is no such fruit. You can say that apple growing on a mango tree or a mango growing on an apple tree. So the growth of the pollen tube inside that particular style is reason or is a result of this chemotropism. While if we talk of this bending, or you can say the coiling up of this particular plant towards this support is all due to one particular hormone. The coiling you can say, or you can say the directional movement of the plants towards the sun. That is all due to the hormone known as auxin. The auxin, whenever there is a sun, or you can say whenever there is a stimulus, the auxin, it moves away from that particular stimulus. If the sun is here, the movement of the auxin will be always towards the opposite side. Now the function of the auxin is to increase the number of the cell, either by elongation or by number increase. Either cell will increase by its volume increase, or it will increase, the length will increase by increasing the number. Now, this particular site of the plant is increasing and this site is not increasing. That means it will lead to the bending up of the plant towards this particular sun or towards the touch. Whenever there is a touch stimulus, here you can see whenever there is a auxin hormone, you can say in the presence of the sunlight, the red color auxins, they have started coming or concentrating towards the end part. Now that concentration towards the end part had led to the bending. Well, the concentration of this particular hormone auxin, you cannot see over here. Here the number of the auxin concentration is less, but here the auxin concentration is more. Now this auxin is leading to, see here the size of the cell, see here the size of the cell, it changes, leading to the bending. Now if the sun will come to this side, then the auxin will move towards the another side, the another shady side, then will lead to the growth towards this side. In short, when the plant overall development it occurs, then a proper length of the plant is shown. If it is this much long in a day or on first day, after 10 to 15 days, we can see the growth of the plant like this. Now that growth was actually due to this light. This growth was actually due to this auxin hormone. This auxin and sun, they are working as in stimulus, and this type of a movement or stimulus is termed as in the tropic movement, the phototropic movement. Here, when we are talking of the nastic movement, in case of nastic movement, there is just the response, and the response is all due to the change in the turbo pressure. Here, when we are talking of this particular tropic movement, we say these are towards the stimulus, they are always directional, and they'll always lead to the growth of the plant. So three factors, they are always responsible. That in case of a tropic movement, there is always growth, while in case of nastic movement, there is no such growth shown. It is just a movement which may be a non-directional movement, and example being the photonasty or a thigmonasty. Photo means sunlight. The opening and closing of the petals of dandelion flowers are due to the intensity, just closer and opening. While in thigmonasty, we can say the closer up of the bladder wort, that is the insectivorous plants, they are closing their lid. So that's a kind of a thigmonastic thing. And seismonasty, in case of the mimosa pudica, that is the touch me not. Talking of these particular things, we come to know that these flowers or the plants, if they are responding, some great thing is actually a cause of it. And these causes are nothing but the hormones. For every tropic movement, for example, the phototropic, geotropic, chemotropic, whichever hormone is going to work on so that these things could work or these things to will grow, that is an auxin hormone. So here the hormones, they are the one which may be leading to the growth or which may be the inhibitors. There are a total of 5 hormones that are present in the plant. Animals, they have many more hormones, but for the plants, these 5, they are going to play a very important role. The auxins, the cytokinins, the gibberellins, the ethylene, and the abscisic acid. Where if you talk of these 3, they are a kind of a hero kind of hormones. The hormones which are going to promote the growth. But when we talk of the villains, or we can say the negative character, the negative role players of the plants, then the word is ethylene and abscisic acid. In case ethylene, for ethylene, I can go that this is a kind of hormone which is playing a dual role. It acts as a growth promoter also somewhere. It is promoting, it's giving a good effect to the plant. But for an abscisic acid, it's a kind of a negative hormone which is going to either way protect the plant only. So for working of these hormones, if I talk of, there are various functions they are performing, and some of the functions they are listed here. You can see that the 5 hormones here are responsible for germination, for the growth, for the flowering, for the fruit development, for the abscission. Now the word abscission is a layer or a point from where the leaves will fall down, the flower will fall down, or the fruit will fall down. Now when these particular things fall, when they get old, now that when that particular old age comes, the senescence age comes, that age coming is actually decided by this abscisic acid. Somehow auxin will try that these plants, they should not shed their leaves at an early stage. For the plants, the cytokinins may decide that there should be no falling up of the premature fruits. For the fruits or the leaves, they should not fall down. These falling up is promoted by both the ethylene and the abscisic acid. So this ethylene is only one hormone which is a gaseous hormone and leading to the ripening up of the course. So talking of these functions, the gibberellins, they G for gibberellin, G for germination, G for growth. So here the two G could act as in for your learning sense how gibberellins, they are working for the goodwill of a plant. They are responsible for the flowering, they are responsible for the fruit development. Auxins, they help in growth, they help in the flower development, they help in the fruit development, they prevent the leaf fall at an early stage. Cytokinins, they have a similar function like auxin. So if auxin AC, so your AC works when you are sitting in a room, your growth is better. You can say you bloom well. So if you are blooming well, the flowering is good. You are eating in a room which is having an AC, like fruits, you are eating in an AC. So that's a learning technique. In AC may bad ke, you have a good growth, you bloom yourself, and you are having a good fruit dish in front of you. So that makes the functions of this auxin. For gibberellins, GG, that means the germination and the growth. Plus they are adding to the flower formation and for the fruit development. For this particular ethylene, it has a major role in ripening. If there is no ethylene, then you will be getting raw fruits. Now sometimes what happens, we keep raw fruits, but after day or two or three, you can see the fruits, they start ripening up. Now that ripening is actually promoted by the ethylene. Now, if a ripened fruit, the over-ripened fruit, if it is kept in a basket of a raw fruit, in that case, the ripening will lead, will be comparatively faster. So just as to, promote this particular ripening, artificial ethylenes, or you can say synthetic ethylenes, they are being used by the farmers so as to sell their market products in a very short period of time and thus get a bulk amount of money at an off-season period. Just if the plant will be maturing or the fruits will be maturing at a particular period of a time. But if synthetic ethylene is spread on the fruits, then the ripening will be faster. So what these farmers do, they try to incorporate these hormones artificially, synthetically. They spray this thing on the plants so as to increase their production, so as to sell them at an early stage compared to the one which will be coming in the season. Abscisic acid, if I talk of, is the only one, you can say, villain hormone. Now this villain hormone is responsible for the abscission, the falling up, that the promotion of that falling up of the fruit, or the you can say the leaves, or just for dying up, the wilting up, you can say, that is promoted by this abscisic acid. Seed dormancy. The dormancy is a state of a particular organism where we say that these organism, maybe a plant or an animal, the dormant stage is when that the plant is not responding at all. For example, your mother, she keeps the grains, or you can say the lentils, in a jar, the plastic jar. They don't show growth. It's not like opening after 15 days. Your mother has opened the bottle and you see small plantlets from that particular jar coming up. That doesn't happen, and that is actually the work of the abscisic acid. It is the abscisic acid which prevents the growth. Now, when you sow this thing, when you give them water, when you keep them inside the soil, then that growth is actually promoted. Now, that promotion is only when the factors, they are given. Till then, if the seed does not want to grow, then abscisic acid will show its presence. So this is a sum up of all these hormones, that how these hormones, they are going to, help you. Where auxins responsible for the, you can say, for the growth, for the germination, and they are responsible for the flowering purpose and for the fruit development. The gibberellins, the GG, the growth and the germination, the flowering and the fruit development. The cytokinin responsible for the cell division. The plant, when increases its length, it is all due to its auxin. But when it laterally grows, The lateral development of the plants is due to the cytokinin. The cyto refers to the cell and kinin refers to the division. So this hormone where auxin is elongating the cell की length बढ़ा रहा है, volume बढ़ा रहा है. Cytokinin कैसे increase कर रहा है? It is increasing by cell division. It is increasing the number of the cell instead of elongating the cell. So somehow चाहे हम elongate करके growth करें और by number of cells करके growth करें, the growth of the plant has been done. Abscisic acid, it is the dormant, it is the one which is going to bring the dormancy. And ethylene promoting the senescence, that is the old age, and leading to the fruit ripening for the epinastic movements in the plants. Now, the major role the plants has, for the control coordination, all was done by this particular hormones. Now, talking of this endocrine system in our case, in human beings. So, for human beings, if we talk of, there are various glands that are responsible for this plant system. Like for the animals, we have the word endocrine system. For the plants, we have the word known as the control system, which occurs through the chemical things, and these chemical things, they are nothing but the hormones, the chemical hormones. Thank you. We'll be dealing with this endocrine system in our next class. Thank you.